after washing the feet of his apostles, after partaking of the Last Supper with them, Jesus told them that their love for each other would prove to the world they were his disciples. Out of everything Christ could have said the night before his resurrection, he commanded his followers to love others. Jesus had also told his disciples that after his death, there would be false Christs and false prophets. Now, what is prophecy other than its definition in Revelation 19 that says it's the testimony of or testifying of Jesus Christ? Have you ever professed the name of Christ? Have you taken upon you his name or ever testified in his name? Because I know I have. And when we do this, and then when people see us interact with others, when they hear us speaking to other people or about other people in our homes, in our churches, at work, do they know we belong to Christ? Or are we false prophets, false testifiers? When we interact with someone we disagree with, do we treat them with such loving kindness that it's shocking, like a bright beacon on the top of a hill in the midst of a world filled with the darkness of constant shaming and blaming? Or is our conversation so much like the rest of the world's that they would have a hard time knowing the difference between us and someone who doesn't believe in Christ? Often it's our belief in Christ that leads to contention. And yet, if we truly follow the Christ who revealed himself as the Messiah to that apostate Samaritan woman at the well, Christ who used the Samaritan man from that wayward society as the prime example of Christ-like behavior, are we ever really justified in casting stones at those whose faith in Jesus is slightly different than ours? Now, I don't believe Jesus instructed his disciples to love others simply because it was a nice idea, or even just so that they might be good examples. I believe that love and faith and trust in the process of love is far more powerful than any preaching. For instance, do you know about the rabbit effect? Scientists studying heart health gave rabbits a high-fat diet, and all the groups of rabbits had the same outcomes except for one that was vastly healthier than the rest. The scientists discovered that the only differing factor here was the loving kindness of the researcher who handled that group of rabbits. To be certain, they repeated the experiment, controlling for every other variable. And sure enough, the rabbits who were more loved were 60% healthier than the rest. Perhaps this is why the woman with the issue of blood healed. Not because Jesus taught her about endurance and perseverance or preached to her about hope and faith, but because he is love. All he had to do was simply be present for her to reach out and connect with him and heal. That's how love works. It is more powerful than any presentation and more life-changing than any compliance we could force out of someone. There are a lot of causes out there, social, religious, political, that sound correct and good in theory. But do they produce in you the increased fruits of love for yourself, your family, strangers? Or are these false Christs, false saviors, who try to force with shame, blame, and explain others into complying with their version of salvation? Do these ideas and philosophies inject into you more contempt, more rage, more fear toward others? If so, then it might be time to change course and follow the more true path of love and true salvation. And that journey begins with one step. The next time you're feeling contentious toward anyone, before you speak to them, or more importantly, about them, stop and ask yourself, what would love look like right now, in this moment? And then do that, even if it means doing nothing. Because for disciples of Jesus Christ, love will and must be the sole motivation for every interaction in every aspect of our lives. And even if that seems like it might be impossible at times, if we are willing to humble ourselves, like Jesus Christ did. Jesus, who removed his robe, knelt on the ground, and washed the dirt off the feet of his apostles, even the ones he knew would later deny him and betray him. If we're willing to be that for others, then, as Jesus promised Peter, we will belong to him.